If someone told me that the person who would destroy my reputation, empty my bank account, and make the world believe I was a criminal would be the same woman who once held my hair while I cried over my first breakup, I would be laughed. Because betrayal from an enemy hurts, but betrayal from a best friend? That shatters your identity. Literally. My name is Ariana, and today, sitting in the studio, I'm going to tell you how my best friend stole my identity and almost stole my life. I grew up believing one truth: friends are the family we choose. And for 15 years, I chose Maya. Or maybe she chose me. We met at 19, two broke college girls sharing instant noodles and big dreams. She was funny, loud, confident. I was shy and careful with every step I took. Somehow, we balanced each other. She filled the silence. I filled the space with stability she didn't have. For years, she slept on my couch during breakups, used my address when she kept moving apartments, even borrowed my clothes like they were hers. I didn't mind, because she wasn't a guest in my life, she was my life. Or so I thought. I didn't know that every favor I gave her was actually giving her pieces of my identity. Looking back, the first red flag was tiny, so tiny that I ignored it. One afternoon, while I was showering, I saw her taking a picture of my driver's license. When I asked why, she laughed and said, "Relax, Ari. I am filling some forms. They needed a reference address. Yours is easier." I trusted her. That was my biggest mistake. The real nightmare began 6 months ago, on a quiet Wednesday morning. I woke up to 23 emails from my bank. All urgent, all terrifying. Suspicious activity detected. New credit account opened. Overdue balance, immediate action required. At first, I panicked. Then I convinced myself it had to be a mistake. Someone hacked my email, maybe. Things like this happen, right? But when I called the bank, the woman on the line spoke calmly, like this chaos was normal. "Ma'am, you personally applied for 2 credit cards and a personal loan last week." I felt my chest tighten. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You even submitted your ID. Look, your photo is right here. Photo? My photo? My fingers trembled. What photo? She sent it. My world cracked open. It was me, my face smiling stiffly, holding my ID card. The background looked like Maya's apartment wall, and the hands holding the ID were into mine. I felt the blood leave my body. Someone used my name, my ID, my info, my face. Someone pretended to be me. My voice was barely a whisper. "Can you tell me who submitted that application?" The banker hesitated. "I can describe her. She said she was you, but honestly, she looked different. Younger. Shorter hair. Shorter hair. Different jewelry. Hands full of rings." Everything clicked. My breathing stopped. It was Maya. I hung up and sat on the floor, shaking. Why? Why would she do that? I scrolled through our last messages. She had borrowed money a month ago, promising to return it. We had a small argument after I refused to lend more. She wasn't angry, or so I thought. She even sent a heart emoji at the end. I didn't know that behind that emoji she was filling debt documents under my name. I grabbed my car keys and rushed to her apartment. My hands were cold on the steering wheel. My thoughts were racing. Should I confront her? Would she deny it? Would she cry and blame stress? Would I forgive her? I didn't know what to expect. But nothing could be prepared me for what I saw. When she opened the door, she didn't look guilty. She didn't look scared. She looked annoyed. "Ariana, why are you here so early?" she said, rolling her eyes. My voice cracked. "Why did you use my ID? Why are there loans and credit cards under my name?" She didn't flinch. She didn't blink. She just crossed her arms. "Oh, that? Calm down. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. My identity. My financial life. My entire existence. Not a big deal? Maya, what is wrong with you?" She sighed dramatically, like I was the problem. Look, you weren't using your credit. I needed it. Friends help each other. You were being dramatic. I felt something break inside me. Are you insane? You committed a crime? She rolled her eyes again. Ari, stop acting like a saint. Ivy helped you so many times. You owe me. I stepped back, my heart pounding dangerously. Owe you? For what? And then she said the sentence that still haunts me. For being your friend. Do you know how exhausting it is to be in your life? I felt the air leave my lungs. She wasn't apologizing. She wasn't scared. She wasn't even sorry. She was proud. Maya, you stole my identity. And so what? She snapped. You were smart. You will clean it up. I stared at the woman I once called my sister. This wasn't the girl who cried in my lap. This wasn't the friend I trusted with everything. This wasn't someone who loved me. This was someone who looked at me and saw a resource, a tool, a wallet, a person she could become if she wanted to. I walked out silently and she didn't stop me. She didn't even call my name. It was in that moment I realized something. The person who stole my identity had been pretending to be my friend long before she pretended to be me. But what happened next was worse. Much worse. Because the moment I left her apartment, I didn't know that she had already taken the next step. She didn't just steal my identity. She started using it to ruin my reputation. She made sure the world believed I was the criminal, not her. I wish I could tell you things got better after I walked out of Maya's apartment. I wish I could say the bank reversed the charges quickly, the confusion cleared, and the nightmare ended. But real life doesn't wrap tragedies neatly. Sometimes, the moment you think the worst is over, life whispers, you've seen nothing yet. The next morning, I was getting ready for work when my phone started buzzing nonstop. Unknown numbers, back-to-back calls, notifications exploding like fireworks. At first, I thought it was the bank again. I was wrong. When I opened the first message, my heart nearly stopped. It was a screenshot of a police report, filed under my name, with my photo. And the accusation? Fraud, identity theft, unauthorized financial activity. I read the words again because they didn't make sense. Fraud? Identity theft? Me? My fingers went cold. Before I could process it, another message came in. Why would you scam people? I thought you were kind. Shame on you, Ariana. Then one from my coworker. Are you coming to work? HR wants to see you. I felt the room spin. I grabbed my keys and ran to my car. My mind was racing, but my soul felt heavy like I was sinking inside my own body. When I arrived at work, everyone stared at me, whispering, pulling back, like I carried a disease. My manager approached me with a forced calmness. Ariana, we need to talk. We sat in the HR room, and my hands were shaking so badly I had to sit on them. He placed a file in front of me. A police report was filed this morning stating that you attempted to open multiple accounts under someone else's name. They received proof, documents, ID scans, signatures, all under your identity. I felt like screaming. I felt like punching the wall. But all that came out was a broken whisper. That wasn't me. He sighed. I want to believe you. But everything points to you. Everything. That word hit me like a knife. Because everything wasn't mine. It was hers. My best friend. My sister. My betrayer. Maya had filed the report. She stole my identity, then reported me for stealing hers to cover her tracks. Genius. Evil. Unforgivable. They suspended me from work that day. I sat in my car in the parking lot for almost an hour, staring at the steering wheel. My whole life felt like a blurry photograph, smudged, unrecognizable. Who was I without my name, my reputation, my identity? And the worst question, who was she pretending to be now as me? That night, I received the message that confirmed everything. A private unknown number texted. Stay out of it, Ari. You talk. You lose more. It was her style, her language, her punctuation. I knew it was her. My best friend was threatening me using my identity. I threw my phone onto the couch and buried my face in my hands. For the first time in years, I cried like a child, loud, helpless, broken. How could someone who shared my dreams steal my life? The next day, I went to the police station. I walked in with trembling legs, clutching every document. I had my real ID, bank statements, proof of my innocence. But the officer barely looked at them. Someone filed a complaint against you with stronger evidence, he said. Until we verify everything, you're under observation. Observation? Like I was a lab rat. Officer, I am the victim, I said, my voice cracking. She stole my identity. He raised an eyebrow. She? Who is she? I closed my eyes. It is my best friend. As the words left my mouth, I tasted bitterness. Admitting it made the betrayal real. He sighed. People rarely betray strangers. Leaving the station, I felt hollow, like my soul had been scraped out. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I drove aimlessly until I ended up at the old park Maya and I used to visit in college, the same bench where she once sat crying after her first heartbreak. I sat there now, in the exact same spot, except this time, the tears were mine. I remember whispering to myself, how did I become the villain in my own life? And then my phone buzzed again. A video call from an unknown number. My stomach dropped. I answered. And there she was. Not Maya, but a bank employee ID never seen before. Behind her stood someone blurred, but I recognized the silhouette instantly. Short hair, small frame, the way she leaned on her left leg. It was Maya. Ms. Ariana, the employee said, we were calling to verify your loan application. You were here at our office, correct? I froze. They thought she standing behind them was me. I shook my head violently. No, that is not me. I am not there. Please hear me. But before I could finish, Maya leaned forward, pretending she wasn't fully on camera. In a perfectly rehearsed version of my voice, she said, I'm sorry. There must be some confusion. My friend is going through mental issues. Ignore her. Mental issues. She was painting me as unstable, as unreliable, as a liar. The employee hung up. I stared at my screen, numb. That was the moment I realized she didn't just steal my identity. She became me, better than I ever could. Cleaner, more confident, more believable. To the world, she was Ariana, and I was the imposter. I felt something inside me turn cold. If I didn't fight back now, I would lose everything: my job, my reputation, my life. I wiped my tears and whispered, no more running, no more trusting, no more forgiving. But I didn't know that the fight ahead wouldn't just expose her. It would expose something else, something darker, something she'd have been doing for years, long before stealing my identity. And the truth would destroy us both. People think identity theft is just about money or documents. But sitting here today, I can tell you it says something deeper. It's the moment you look into the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. It is the moment you realize someone else is living your life and doing it louder than you ever could. That's what broke me. Not the loans, not the police report, not the job suspension. What broke me was watching my best friend become a better version of me in the eyes of everyone who mattered. But the thing about hitting rock bottom is there's only one direction left. Up. And that's where I began. The twist I never saw coming. 2 weeks after the video call incident, I finally hired a cybercrime attorney. He looked through every document, every signature, every application Maya had submitted pretending to be me. Halfway through, he paused, his eyebrows furrowed. He leaned closer to the screen, zooming into something I couldn't understand. Ariana, he said slowly, this isn't her first time. My heart stopped. What do you mean? He turned his laptop toward me. There were 6 other victims, 6 other names, 6 other ruined credit reports, 6 other lives messed up, all with the same handwriting, the same method, the same pattern. She is a serial identity thief, he said, and she has been doing it for at least 4 years. I felt my skin crawl. 4 years? 4 years of trust? 4 years of letting her into my home? 4 years of sharing everything from my passwords to my birthday details? I remember whispering. She practiced on them before she used me. He nodded. She used you because you were easy to mimic. Close. Familiar. Predictable. Predictable. That word hit me like a slap. I had been predictable to my best friend. Predictable enough to steal. Predictable enough to destroy. I wasn't her sister. I wasn't her friend. I was a blueprint. The trap I set my lawyer explained the only way to legally catch her was through a controlled confrontation, a recorded conversation where she admitted the truth, even indirectly. So I crafted a message. Maya, we need to talk. One final time, no police, no drama, just us. I want to hear your side. She replied in less than a minute. Fine. Starbucks at 5. As if she had been waiting for this moment. I arrived early and sat at a corner table. Not because I wanted privacy, but because I wanted her to look at me directly. Look at the face she stole. When she walked in, she wasn't scared. She wasn't anxious. She was glowing. New hair. New clothes. A new phone probably bought under my name. She sat across from me casually, sipping her drink. So, she said, are you done being dramatic? Dramatic. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the table across the room, but I didn't. I remembered the lawyer S words. Keep her talking. Let her confess without knowing she is confessing. So I smiled softly. A smile I forced. Maya, I am not here to fight. I just want to understand. She leaned back, smirking. I hated that smirk. What's there to understand, Ari? You have a stable life. You have everything. Opportunities fall in your lap. Meanwhile, I've had to fight for every piece of my existence. But why my identity? I whispered. She rolled her eyes. Because yours was easy. Do you know how long I've been doing this? I perfected it. My hands tightened under the table. She was confessing. Slowly, carelessly, proudly. I had to push. So everything you submitted under my name, all of it was you? She smiled a smile that didn't belong on her face. A smile that felt like a knife. Who else? You think anyone else can pretend to be you that well? My heart cracked, but I kept my voice steady. And the police report? You filed it? She shrugged. Obviously, I needed to cover myself. And honestly, Ari, the world believed me because you were too quiet, too soft, too forgettable. Forgettable. She hit the one insecurity I never spoke aloud. I looked down for a moment, pretending to break, but inside I was screaming, thank you, God. This is the confession. Keep talking, Maya. Dig your own grave. I whispered. You ruined my life. She didn't even blink. You all survive. You always do. But me? I needed a chance. And you had everything I wanted. Everything. I almost laughed. She didn't even want my life. She wanted the idea of my life. Stability. Respect. Clean reputation. Things she never built for herself. Things she wanted to steal. Before leaving, she stood up and said something that still chills me. You were never supposed to find out. If you had just stayed quiet, this would have been easier for both of us. She walked out. But she didn't know every word was recorded. She had confessed to everything. The fall, 2 days later, police officers knocked on her door. Identity theft, fraud, forgery, cybercrime, financial impersonation, false police report. The list was longer than a grocery receipt. When they put her in handcuffs, she screamed my name. Ariana, you owe me. You owe me everything. No, Maya. I owed you nothing, not even my tears. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and for the first time in months, I slept peacefully. The person I became. Even after clearing my name, fixing my credit, and returning to work, something inside me was changed forever. People think healing begins the moment the villain falls, but healing for me began the moment I realized I was part of my own downfall. I trusted too blindly. I shared too much. I ignored too many signs. I gave access to parts of myself I should be guarded. And that's why today, sitting in this studio, I can say this with strength. Not everyone who sits beside you is meant to stand with you. Not every friend is a blessing. Some are warnings. Maya didn't just steal my identity. She forced me to find my real one, a stronger one, a wiser one that cannot be copied. And if someone ever tries to become me again, they'll find a woman who isn't predictable anymore, a woman who knows her worth, a woman who protects her life fiercely, because this time, my identity belongs only to me.